And so we don't claim to be perfect. But I don't think we have to be perfect. What we have to be is obedient. We have to be obedient to the one who created us, and even in our weaknesses, even in the places where we get off, he can use that to his glory and use that to his good. And I stand as a testimony to that. There's so many places where I've screwed up and I've gone wrong and I've done bad things and I've led our organization in the wrong direction. And even through that, he's course corrected and we've learned from it so that we don't make those same mistakes again in the future. My first trip when I was a senior in high school, going to Haiti and serving when I was 18 years old. It's been part of my story for a long time. My sophomore year in college, I was making some bad life choices. I said to my roommate, I just need to pray because I know this isn't the path that God's called me on. I know this isn't where I want to end up. And so I prayed, and it was during that prayer that I heard an audible voice say, go back to Haiti. No doubt in my mind. Like, I got done with the prayer, I looked around and I'm like, did you hear? Go back to Haiti? I'm like, no. I was like, okay, well, I heard go back to Haiti. No idea what that meant, but I heard the voice. And so I woke up the next morning, I went to the cafeteria, got my breakfast, came back, and on that day, there was an email in my inbox asking me to be a college leader with the group I went with 2 years earlier to go back to Haiti. That was the before and after trip for me. I can draw a line in the sand and say, this is before that trip and this is after that trip. And it was really during that trip that God revealed a couple things to me. Number one is his ways are better than my ways 100% of the time. And the second thing though that God really revealed to me is that this would be something that I would do for the rest of my life.
So today's a good day for us.
If you ever seen the cartoon Popeye the Sailor Man, Popeye would be going along and Olive Oyl would get in distress and Bruno would come and steal her, and he would hit this point where it was his Popeye moment where it's like he couldn't stand it anymore. He was just like, I'm so mad, I just can't stand this anymore. And he would pop his spinach and he would eat that and his forearms would get really big and he would just take off and he would take action. He would save the day, he would save Olive Oyl. What's the thing you can't stand anymore? And what are you gonna do about it? Because what I couldn't stand was the way that we as Americans were engaging with the Haitians. Because we were coming down there like we knew everything, we had it all figured out, they know nothing. Because of that, there was brokenness between the two cultures. I knew my story. I knew how I had been a changed person from going to Haiti. I was not the same person anymore as I was when I was a senior in high school. And I wanted that from more people. And I just sat down at a chair and I started to put on white paper on a tablet, just these basic structures of what I felt we could do missions better in Haiti. When we first started Many Hands, we were going to be completely supporting other Haitian organizations. Because I looked at it and like, there's enough ministries in Haiti, like we don't need another ministry in Haiti. And so over time, what we saw was the integrity that we desired as an organization wasn't present in a lot of our partners. We couldn't continue that progress by staying limited to how they were gonna do it. So we're trying to create new ways of doing things. Let's not do it the same way it's been done for 30 years. And ultimately, if you're not seeing the outcomes that you want, why do we keep doing it the same way? Like that's the first sign of insanity. We determined that we needed to break, to test some of these thoughts that we had of how we could do it better, particularly around how could we equip mothers and fathers with children to be better for education and support themselves. They started to see, oh man, they're doing something different. We continue to stay true to our path and we continue to say, you know what, we're not gonna settle and just do what everybody else does. We believe there's a better way and we're gonna stay true to that. The earthquake happened in 2010, so we were around pre-earthquake, but that earthquake changed our trajectory because people realized, oh, they actually can work with integrity. They get us receipts, they get us cost amounts. When we send them money, they show us what they spent the money on. It's actually possible to do that. We got things done. And for me, that was a pretty big time of my life because I'm like, ugh, like all these visions, all my history, like it's there, but am I really willing to commit? At that time, I was at a large corporate manufacturing company, had a really good job, was on a nice track for a really good career, and 2 kids, a 4 and a 2-year-old, the white picket fence, the big house, the whole 9 yards. And I kind of, was like, well, maybe this Haiti thing isn't what it's supposed to be, And here I am, I'm like, I feel like I'm playing missionary. I feel like I'm playing this part, but I'm not actually in it. And I saw my life being splintered. I saw, in one hand, I would play business person during some times, and I'd be this global, representative with this global business, and I'd put that hat on, and I would go do that, and then I'd take that hat off, and I'd put on my missions hat. Well, now I'm a missions guy, and And then I would take that half and I'd be Family Guy. And the problem is they're all becoming very splintered. And so when I came back from that trip in September, that just kept I couldn't sleep. I couldn't shake it. And I'd wake up and I'd just see these Haitians and some of our people we were working with, and I just felt like such a fraud. Like, here I am, president of this, global ministry, but yet no skin off my back. I'm not sacrificing anything. I'm just playing it. I never wanted to look back on my story and say I chose the easy way. And that meant leaving my corporate job of very much influence, finances. We had to sell our house to make ends meet.
We all have stuff, all right? Do we need more stuff? I don't think so.
Because I couldn't afford the house with the salary that I was gonna have. It meant initially going to no salary at all. So I said yes, I quit my job, I left it, and all I heard from God was be available. That's it. All I heard, be available. But through it all, we never once missed a meal. We never once weren't able to pay a bill. We never once weren't able to get our kids to the hospital. It was a season that I don't want to go back to, but I'm also like, man, that was such a growing season for all of us. None of it's been easy. But I can say beyond a shadow of doubt that God's been faithful. Because again, I look at myself and my brokenness and some of the stuff that's happened. I'm like, there's no way we should still be around. There's no way. We should have shut our doors 3-4 times over at least by now. God had different plans. And when we relied on that, he came through. So I'm just always incredibly grateful and thankful for where we've come from and where we've been, because I think it's from that he's gonna do more than we imagine in the future as well.